have you seen the recent interview with the Social Security Commissioner, Martin O'Malley, and the discussion of Social Security being a legal Ponzi scheme? Well, if not, I will certainly be sharing it with you here in this video, as I've certainly received some questions about this, and I've seen it floating around in the headlines as well. Let's get into it and talk through the details. All right. Now, this is a very interesting interview, and yes, Martin O'Malley, the current Social Security Commissioner, was recently out in an interview, and this came up. Social Security is a Ponzi scheme. Well, let's talk about that a little bit further, because he addressed this, and I want you to hear exactly what he said from him as well, which I'll be playing a clip here in just a minute. You can literally hear him talk about this right in the interview. So really quickly, I'd love to hear your feedback down below in the comment section. Now, I do totally recognize most of you here in this community that watch these videos receive some type of Social Security benefit. I just want to ask you really quickly, do you think that this is a legal Ponzi scheme? I'm going to bet that most people out there receiving benefits are going to say, are you kidding me? Absolutely not, right? So I just want to hear your feedback down below. If you feel like sharing, if you don't want to as well, that's totally fine. But every so often we do see this thing come up, right? You see it out there in the headlines. You see different people talking about it. Sometimes it's different lawmakers, which is actually what prompted his reaction on this whole thing. And sometimes you hear about this. Oh, they're just, funding early investors. That's typically what a Ponzi scheme is, by the way, is basically early investors are the people that get paid out at the end from the new money coming in from basically new investors. It's kind of like basically how Social Security is operated is basically people pay in through Social Security payroll taxes. Obviously, they always have. That's where Social Security gets the bulk of its money. And then it's paid out to beneficiaries, right? I mean, it kind of sounds similar, but it's a very, very different structure, okay? Anyway, so with that being said, I want to roll the clip right now of a little bit of this interview. Now, by the way, full disclaimer, this is not the full interview. I'm just kind of chopping a piece out of the interview so you can hear this about it. And, I'll let it play for a little while here so you can hear a little bit more of the discussion. But this is a little piece of it. And then I'll come back here in just a couple minutes and we can talk about this a little bit further. All right, so Martin O'Malley in the interview talking about Social Security and a Ponzi scheme. Here you go.
You get isn't going to be $100 for Social Security because we're running out of money. And it basically says you either have to raise taxes, you have to cut benefits, or there has to be a combination of both. And when you get ideas like this, it only adds to more benefits, more money, and doesn't solve the problem. What happens from here? Because we know where this is headed.
Yeah, let's unpack all of that.
Okay.
First of all, there is no reason that Social Security need go bankrupt or insolvent. In fact, it's not on a path for bankruptcy or insolvency in the way that you and I and people on the street would understand those terms.
It's just pennies on the dot.
It is
79 cents on the dot.
It is true, though, that back in 1982, when the last congressional reforms were made, famously Ronald Reagan and Tip O'Neill had a beer, and they created 75 years of fiscal health for Social Security. They knew the baby boomers were coming, and they knew that there would be this big demographic bulge, so they built up a surplus reserve. And it is true that surplus reserve is being depleted sooner than they thought, but that's because of changes to the tax code that took more of the dollars out of the bracket that Social Security applies to and pushed it into the top 6% of earners. So bills on Capitol Hill by like John Larson in Congress or Senator Whitehouse actually don't call for cuts. They show how we can actually get wealthier people to start paying into Social Security again, because right now, like a nurse works all year, pays into it. Warren Buffett stops paying after the first 13 seconds after midnight.
Let me ask you a couple of ways. I'm 40. I'm married with kids in elementary school. Without changes, is Social Security there for me?
It is there, but if Congress doesn't act, which they always have before, by 2035, it was actually pushed off a year because of better than expected wage growth. And it is true that there would be an automatic 17% reduction in benefits.
So it's
unless
there,
Congress fixes it.
It's there, but again, pennies on the dollar.
Yeah, so let me tell you, last year we paid, it's a pay-as-you-go system, not a Ponzi scheme.
So Senator Ron Johnson basically says this is a legal Ponzi scheme.
Yeah, I've heard that. That's bullshit. I mean, that's not true. That's not true.
What about the concept, though, of you have money coming in to pay for money coming out, and it's just not stable, I guess is the argument.
Well, it's been stable. It's been stable for 89 years. If it's a Ponzi scheme, as Senator Johnson says, it's the longest running Ponzi scheme in world history. Look, this is what happened.
Okay.
Last year, Social Security, we the people, paid $1.37 trillion in benefits. We, the people who were working, paid $1.35 trillion into it. Mm-hmm. So the dollars that people pay into it are the dollars that are paid out, just like an insurance company pays, claims on premiums. And the other 0.2,
right,
that came from that built-up trust fund reserve, which, because of income inequality, is being depleted sooner than we thought it would in, 1982. I was in college, and my friends were all saying it wouldn't be there for us, and now I get to apply next year.
So I don't want to be selfish. Forget about me and my generation for a second. Let's talk about my parents' generation, right? And full benefits when you start at 67. You just saw everything under the hood.
Yeah.
Is it your belief that the age needs to be pushed out, or else, again, they're getting pennies on the dollar?
I would not recommend that. I don't think that's sound policy.
All right, so there it is, the portion of the interview that I wanted to share with you, and you can clearly hear Martin O'Malley saying, no, absolutely not. Social Security is not a legal Ponzi scheme. That is bogus. That is baloney. That is not the case at all. And again, depends on who you ask, depends on what research you do about this. You can always find conflicting information that's out there. And another thing too, I just want to throw this out there really fast. Obviously, being the acting Social Security Commissioner as we speak, he has to say this too. And again, I'm not saying that it is or it isn't. I'm just simply saying he kind of has to say this too. But he's making it very clear, no, absolutely not. That is not how this program is structured, even though when you look at it from, face value, it kind of feels like, hey, they're structured the same way, right? The people that, paid in early are basically getting paid out now, while the new money is funding the old money, kind of the same situation. Well, that's not how this program is set up, right? Now, don't get me wrong. Social Security certainly has some major financial issues out there in the future, about 8, 9, maybe 10 years from now or so, give or take a little bit. Yes, they have some major financial issues, but they're going to fix that up. It's not going to be one of these big things where typically a Ponzi is exposed and then, whoops, everybody loses their money. That's not really how Social Security is, right? No, people are not just going to lose their money overnight like a Ponzi would. Remember that? Back in, I think it was like 08 or something like that. Remember the whole Bernie Madoff thing where all of a sudden they were exposed and whoops, everybody lost their money like basically overnight? That's not how Social Security is going to be, right? It's not how it's going to work, right? Here's the thing. Social Security has issues financially, but it's still going to be there for many decades and generations into the future. Yup, may benefits be cut massively? Possibly. We don't know what's going to happen. But will the program still be there? Absolutely, okay? So, anyway, just want to share this with you really quickly, and so you can hear exactly what he said. And again, I hope this helps you. Just here for you in any way that I possibly can be. I like to, when I find stuff like this, I find it to be interesting. I like to share it with you so you can hear exactly what is being said about these topics like this. Anyway, hope this helps. Again, please can I ask a huge favor of you. If you're new here or if you haven't done so, please subscribe down below. Totally free to do so. Big subscribe button for you down there. Thank you so much. Really appreciate your support. Also, thanks so much for being part of this community. I truly do appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much for being here. Also, can I ask a huge favor of you as well? Do you know 1 or 2 people that benefit from this information here in this video or any other videos that I have on the channel, which, by the way, nearly 5,200 videos here on the channel, which is nuts, honestly. That's a lot of videos. Anyway, feel free to share this video or any others here on the channel with your friends, family, social media. If you can just think of 1 or 2 people, go ahead and share this with them. Otherwise, make sure to hit the like button down below if you'd like to. Totally free to do so. Check out the well over 5,000 videos in the video library. The popular videos I've hand selected for you down below in the description or the top of the comment section, and right now showing up on your screen as well. You'll see some videos there. Thank you so much. Please just have a nice day. Stay warm out there. Thanks for being part of the community, and I'll see you again soon.